So this is from the Bleacher Report, 2025 offensive trade candidates. They go Evan Neal, offensive tackle of the Giants, potential suitors, Ravens and the Browns. Teams could be interested in Neal. Are those with questions at offensive tackle, low risk rookie contract. Browns are such a team. Left tackle is, of course, Jedrick Wills, pending free agent. They go Kirk Cousins, potential suitors, Browns and Jets. Kevin Stefanski coached Cousins for 2 years with the Vikings, and if Atlanta will pay part of Cousins' salary, he'd be a sensible bridge quarterback. He also has a no-trade clause, so he can probably force his way out of Atlanta and become a free agent at a minimum vet deal. The other one, Jack Conklin, potential suitors, Patriots, Titans. Hanging on to Conklin could make sense. Moving him to generate cap space, acquire more draft capital would make sense. Dwan Jones played right tackle, though he struggled to stay on the field. Moving Conklin after June 1st would save $17.4 million in cap space. The only question I have about Conklin is, can he stay healthy? And I think it's more likely that they kind of restructure his contract, try to keep him for a couple of years, because he played as well as anybody on that offensive line. Granted, it underperformed. He won the problem.
No, and he does have a considerable injury history, but after he was able to get back on the field, he outperformed my expectations by far. He was able to get back to that level, and it's like I didn't know he still had that in him. So it feels hard to walk away from that, but you also have that injury history, so you got to weigh that. And he is due a hefty salary this year, but like you pointed out, that is a prime candidate for a restructure. They'll add the dummy year on the back. We know the dance. We see what they do, but you do have to have a contingency plan because of the injury history. The problem is the guy that you have slotted as his backup also has an injury history. 2 years in the league, 2 years finishing on IR. That's something they have to figure out. And for DeWand, this is a massive year for him. He's got to come into camp as healthy as possible, preferably lighter, and really show that he can and be a contributing guy who can stay healthy, because you can't move off Jack Conklin if you don't have anything behind him. So it feels unlikely they would move on from him. The first guy they mentioned there was Evan Neal. I honestly thought he was a prime candidate to be an in-season trade target back in 23. The Giants have been out on Neal basically ever since his rookie year. And I figured that if you're going to take a stab on a guy, you know how the Browns, when they view former first round picks and they see a team's given up on them, they're not going to extend them. They offer them the 5th round pick. We'll swap 6. It feels like Evan Neal could be that kind of candidate, but he's also not a surefire. We're going to trade for this guy, plug and play. You're still taking a dart throw that you're bringing someone in that you hope can be a piece. He may even be a guard at this stage. He really hasn't been able to prove to be a consistent tackle in the NFL. So counting on that seems weird. The Kirk Cousins one, Kirk Cousins, the general manager of the Falcons came out today, Terry Fontenot, and gave the dog and pony show speech about how we're comfortable with Kirk as our backup, and that's how we're going to roll forward, because that's what he has to say right now here today. That song and dance, that'll change when we get closer to March. You'll start to hear the rumblings of trying to find trade targets for him. And if he doesn't, obviously has the no trade clause. So like you pointed out, if he's not happy with any of the destinations or people trying to trade for him, he could just basically opt out, and force his way out of Atlanta. And then we'll truly see what's going on when he gets to that stage, because I think you'll probably have more suitors than you think for Kirk Cousins. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But I don't know what teams are actually going to try to trade, knowing that he has that in his back pocket.